Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing 2 books in one. Let's do this. So can I just start by saying that this book series is the most underrated series I have ever read in my entire life. It's absolutely amazing, but I have heard no buzz about it over YouTube, which is incredible because, okay, the covers I really don't like, but the story itself is fantastic. And I just can't understand why more people aren't reading this series. So Tempest is about a boy called Jackson Meyer who can time travel. The furthest he's ever gone back is 2 days. And whenever he goes back, whatever he does in the past doesn't affect his present or future. But then one day when he's in his girlfriend Holly's dorm, a group of people storm in, shoot Holly, and in a mad panic, he jumps back 2 years to 2007, where he gets stuck. So, he has to figure out how to get back to 2009, save Holly, and also try and escape the organisation who are trying to kill him. That's a lot of pressure. So Jackson is probably one of the best male main characters I have ever read in a YA book series. I love the way he's written. What I love about him is that he's flawed, but they're not obvious flaws, and also his flaws drive the story along, so it just makes him a lot more of an interesting character. He's not obviously stupid or obviously clumsy, or you get those books where a flaw is obviously written in and it's basically shouting at you from a page. This you have to really read in between the lines to try and figure out what his flaws are, but they're definitely there. And personally, what I think his flaws are is that he doesn't know his limits. And this is really interesting because you read about him and you can see him trying something and you can see where it's going and you want to stop him, but because he doesn't know his limits, he pushes it too far, and then it causes so many problems in the story. And I think it's a great way of building up suspense and tension because you don't want him to do something, but he goes and does it anyway without realising the consequences. And I just think that makes him a great character. Another thing that's great about his character is that he's constantly learning throughout the entire series. He's not like some god who's fallen from the sky, who has a sudden moment of realisation and suddenly knows the meaning of life and all these kind of logical questions. He's just a normal boy who can time travel, but that's it. He hasn't got any more answers than anyone else has, and he has to either go and find them out for himself or learn from other people, and it just makes him a lot more realistic and makes me want to support him even more. There is romance in this story, but there isn't as much as I thought there would be, because if you look on the back of the book it sounds really romancy, but it's there, but it's not shoved in your face, which is really good because it means there's room for other stuff to happen in the plot. And if you pick these up expecting it to be all about Holly and Jackson, then you're wrong, because Holly is hardly even in the book, which is quite funny because you'd think she'd be in it a lot. So it means that the plot is less cheesy, and also it shows that Jackson has his priorities sorted out as well. That he doesn't sit and mope about not being with Holly, and he doesn't talk about her non-stop. He's in this situation and he's trying to get out of it first because he knows that if he doesn't, he can't help her. So the romance takes a little bit of a step back, which is what I really like. But to replace some of the romance, there is a lot of action, and there are some really, really cool action scenes that I really like. And what's great about the action is that every single action scene has a purpose. It has a reason for being in the plot. And that is great, because how many stories have you read or films have you watched that there's so much action in there that the plot just gets completely lost and you have no idea why someone punched someone else in the face, other than to add a bit of action into the story. So I really like the fact that every single action scene has a purpose, and you might not find it out in the next chapter or in the next 15 chapters, or you might not even find it out until the next book, but you know that you will find it out. It just keeps you reading and keeps you engaged with the storyline. Now, I only have one tiny weeny little criticism with this book, just a tiny bit, and that is that I don't really care too much about the relationship between Holly and Jackson, which sounds kind of mean. I don't mean it to be that mean. I mean, I do care, I do want them to be together, but not as much as I care about other points in the plot, such as Jackson trying to stay alive. So I think if a relationship was a bit better, then I would really be rooting for him to get back to her and for them to be together. And especially in Vortex, when things happen, which I'm not going to spoil. But this is a lot more about the relationship between Holly and Jackson. But because I don't care so much about that, it's not as good as a book as Tempest. But I still really, really loved it. So overall, I'm going to give this series 5 out of 5 stars, absolutely amazing. If you've read this series, then please comment below and tell me what you thought of it. And let's get buzz going around YouTube. Let's get everyone hyped up about this series because it's brilliant and I don't know anyone who's read it. That was my review on Tempest and Vortex. I really hope you liked that. I actually have a review of Beautiful Creatures, the film, coming up really, really soon. So keep an eye out for that and I'll see you all next time. Bye!